Okay, guys, let's get into it. So if you've been following along the video 2, we created the Airtable and the CRM. Video 1, we created all your accounts. From here today, we're going to be building the actual voice agent through ElevenLabs. I'm going to be setting everything up from the prompting. I'll teach you the best practices for prompting and how to go through this. Okay. We've set up all the accounts. We'll build our Airtable lead database. Today, we're going to be creating the agent. But quick favor before we start, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below if you're enjoying this series. Okay, so today we're going to be diving into ElevenLabs. I'm going to show you how to make it sound human. It's going to be able to book the appointments for you and answer your calls while you sleep. As a bonus, I'm going to be showing you how to self-host N8N on Railway, and it's going to end up saving you about $40 per month. Just to give you a quick view. So if you upload this on Railway and you self-host, it's pretty much free for the first month. And you're going to be saving yourself between $20 and $40 a month. The only downside about hosting this on Railway is you're going to have to update this yourself. However, if you're following this tutorial, I'm sure that you're going to be able to do it. I'll show you how to do it and I'll run you through everything. The benefit of having the cloud N8N is the updates are done for you and it's built-in support. However, if you upload it and self-host, you have less usage limits. It's pretty much free. And it will save you hundreds of dollars in the year. It's a super easy setup. So when we get started, you can go to your dashboard. You can create new project. The good thing about this is that N8N already has the templates for you. So you just go template and then you go N8N and you go N8N with workers, right? So we go to create new project and the template is already there. So you just type in, this says N8N with workers. However, it's on a limited plan. So it only costs about $5 a month. So you're still going to be saving quite a bit. So you just upgrade to hobby, which is just $5 a month. And once you upgrade to hobby, you will be able to upload it onto Railway itself. So, which is pretty cool. So once you pay the $5 a month, you'll go to template, you go N8N, N8N with workers, and you just deploy a new project, and then you just deploy it. It will take a couple of minutes for it to set up. It's going to set up the environment and ideally everything that you need. The primary, so the worker is where it saves all what actually does everything. Primary. This is where we save and recreate your username and password. This is really important. I actually had a problem where I forgot the username and password and had to go through all these steps. So what you're going to do, you're going to create a new variable, and the variable name is I'm just going to be looking through one of my other screens just so, because my setup is there. So username is N8N basic, authorization active. You'll go true, enter that, new variable, basic, you go here and then create a new username. And then another one is a new variable again. Password is, we'll go password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you add. Cool. After that, you'll deploy. Once you deploy it, you'll go to settings, and this is your HTTP address. So you can just copy that, go to a new tab, enter it, and then you should have your page load. Cool. You want to make sure that these variables are identical. So that way you don't have any issues when the time comes. Sorry. And password. I'm going to delete this. So as soon as we're finished with this tutorial. So don't try anything cheeky. And we'll go next. And voila, you have got your own railway for less than $5 a month. And you just start from scratch. And from here, we're just going to be importing our JSON file. However, I'll go through that in our next video. Now let's get into the actual voice agent. So this is one that I've already created. So we'll save changes. What you do is you'll create a new agent, go blank agent. I've got YouTube demo, I'll go YouTube demo 1, create agent. All right. So here we are. This is where you're going to enter your prompts. This is the first message when it does pick up the phone or when someone makes an inbound call. The prompt is pretty essential. Don't worry. I do have the prompt for you on Notion, or you can take a screenshot, just pause this, and you can use the prompt that I use. Since I've already got one set up, I'm just going to go back to that agent that I had, which would be here. And these are the settings. So you have to set up your personality because you want it to sound human-like, friendly, and doesn't sound too much like a robot. ElevenLabs is perfect for that. It has a very human tone, and it does tend to have some level or some amount of emotion. The environment, so which is what the goal is, what you're programming this to do, or what you're prompting this to do. The tone, response clear, concise, professional, typically keeping explanation out of 3 sentences, because sometimes it does tend to ramble on a little bit. So you want to be very structured and as precise as possible in detailing what you want to do or you want it to sound like. So ideally what you want to do is you want to think about having an actual conversation with someone. How would you like that back and forth to be? There's some things in terms of like interruptions and the length of someone talking that you kind of want to maintain it in a very structured, clean, concise way. So we've got the appointment scheduling, lead nurturing. So you detail that. Text confirmations, which is something that I'm going to show you how to add as well. Database management and the guardrails as well. Okay. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys how to add the custom tools. Another thing that you want to ensure that you have or you keep tabs on per se is a temperature. It controls the creativity. The lower it is, the more precise, concise, and direct it is. So it doesn't really leave any room for improvisation. I usually like leaving it at 0.4, a little bit creative. This will just end the call. These are the tools that we're going to be adding as well. So this is a book meeting tool. I have already added the tools. So I'm going to be showing you how to set up the configuration and where to actually find this information. And we're not going to be using that. One thing you also have to ensure that you have is the TTS output has to be in ULaw 8000, which I already went through before. Play around with these, figure out what you like, what is smoother for you, the stability, the speed, similarity. I put speed all the way up to the highest and use Flash V2 because that is the fastest model at the moment. Security, I have the first message on because when we structure our N8N automation, we send the first message with the name of the actual person, which is also the reason we turn on the fetch initiation client data from webhook. And the webhook is going to be from the actual N8N automation. Post-call webhook is for you to send the information or send the overall data from the actual call or whatever to another system in order for you to get the information that you need. It is quite handy and it is quite valuable for you to have because if a client wants the information of how many tokens we use or how long would this call, or you just need to review the calls. Concurrent call limit. ElevenLabs allows, I think it's a maximum of 10 concurrent calls. So you can take 10 calls at the same time. Turn timeout, about 7 seconds. Eagerness, normal. Eagerness is how long, ideally, it's before someone replies. This video, the user input audio format is PCT. You want to make sure that's ULaw as well. So let's save that. And there we go. Those are all the settings that you need to ensure that you have. You need to take note of this agent ID. That's something that we're going to be using. And when you're setting up your phone numbers, you make sure that you have your Twilio SSID and your unique authorization code. Okay. So here we've got tools. It says none. However, we are going to add a few tools. So let's create the tools. Sorry, it says here none. What you're going to need to do is I'll give you this as well. You need to make sure you have these parameters set. So you need to give it like a step-by-step instructions on how to handle the tool calling parameters. So what we'll do is we'll give it an end call system. So when the call is finished, it's going to end the call. It's going to transfer to a number system, which I'll also go through. And you also have to have some guardrails, which again, this prompt is all going to be provided for you. So when it says book meeting, which will be the webhook that I'm going to show you how to build, you need to ensure that it sends the JSON in this format. And it needs to be an ISO format and detail the start, the end date for a booking meeting. This information you can find in your cow.com documentation. So if you're going to create a booking, you need to ensure that you have this, which is OV2 content type, header, and this is the data that you ideally need. All right. So you need to also be careful that when you're filling out the form, that it requests that it doesn't have necessary parameters. Like this is a must have, or if it does, you have to have it within the string. Otherwise it is not going to go through. And when it's a success, you're going to get a 2 or 1. You need to make sure that you have the event type ID. The event type ID is found in your actual calendar. I'll show you here, bookings. This is the event types and the event types ID. The event type ID can be found, which is this 6-digit number here. That is the event type ID. This is the format that you're going to need in order to actually send the request to cow.com and for cow.com to actually accept it. This is to create a booking, to get and to check available bookings. This is the URL. You need to have the authorization, the header, Cal API, and this is what you're going to need. So you need to have it created, not that one, sorry. You need to ensure that you have the start, the end. That's very, very important. And the event type ID, the name, email, time zone is also quite essential. So you need to make sure that you have the right time zone. All right. So I usually just enter the current date as whatever is there and your name, user. It doesn't really matter. This is only for testing. Now, if you're going to add tools, you go add tool and you go add webhook tool. And what you do, this is the configuration. So it's going to go get available slots. So you can take a screenshot of this. However, I'm going to go through all of these. It's going to be in the Notion. It's going to be a get request, which will be here, the URL, timeout. You guys should go a little bit heavier. So you need to have the header. This is also quite crucial. So what you need to do is have, this needs to be value, Cal API version, whatever version it is. And then you add another one. You go secret, which will be your authorization. And then this is the Cal API key, which you will add. Okay. Now, query parameters, your query parameters, it's a string. This will be the end. Like we mentioned before, you need to ensure that you have all these details. Okay. This is very important. It needs to convert it to UTC. However, this format is ISO. All right. And then you add another one, which will be the start. Same again, make sure that you have all of these details here. And then the time zone, you add another one, add parameter, time zone. Cool. And the last but not least, you add one more, and this is event type ID. And the event type ID that you use is found here. It's this 6-digit number there. And Go back here and you say, boom, and that should be everything. So that'll be add tool. Cool. And that's going to add that tool. And then you go for add webhook tool. You go to actually make the bookings. So if you want to make the booking, you ideally go through the exact same setup. However, you need to change this URL. What else do you need to change? The Cal API key, I'll show you how to enter that. And this is the ISO format 861. This is quite important. Otherwise, it's not going to pull the right one. You need to have attendee details, time zone, email, name, event type ID, and all that other fancy stuff. Okay. You need to make sure all of that aligns. Once you do that, you go save tool, and there you go. That should give you the ability to make a booking and to check what available time slots are. And then you have your prompt, inbound, outbound, goal, booking, TTS delivery, yada. Cool. So that's all set up. Let's just do a quick test.
Hi, this is Sarah from Building Blang. We help businesses use AI in a way that makes sense. We're currently offering free 30-minute AI strategy session. Would love to see if you'd be a good fit.
Hi, Sarah. I'd like to make a booking for tomorrow. What slots do you have available?
I've got a few options for tomorrow. Here are some available time: 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 9 a.m., 3 p.m. Which one works best?
Can I have 8 a.m.?
Perfect. You're all set to your AI strategy session on November 2nd at 8 a.m. You'll receive a confirmation email shortly with the Zoom link. Just a quick note: if you have anything specific you'd like to solve, like lead follow-up or automating admin tasks, feel free to share that with us ahead of time. Thanks so much for booking. Looking forward to helping you grow smarter, scale faster, and build for the long term.
Thank you. Bye. Cool. So that's all done. So we've gone through the full system from booking it in. It does sound more natural, stays on topic, knows when to transfer. You need to make sure that you have everything. So your identity, role purpose, communication style, and tools available. And I'll show you how to deploy the N8 and template, the set environment variables, get URL. So which we've done. And that one you ideally save about $30 to $40 a month. These are the two tools that we've just set up. We've set up a check the calendar tool and book an appointment, which is great because it confirms the tools and the tools have all been worked. And in the next video, we're going to be actually setting up the N8 and making sure that the workflow works. But if you need to make sure, you need to have a look at the tool that the tools have been called and everything is working properly. You can go to transcription data and it'll show you, okay, this is what it pulls up and gives you the available slots, yada, yada. Obviously, we might need to have a look at switching these parameters a little bit, and because it does give too many options, and it does send an SMS, which I'll show you how to add, and it's booked the meeting as well, which is all in there. And all right, guys, that's pretty much everything. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you in the next video.